it.
I was like, she might get Jackson to do it.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
Jack's okay. Yeah, Jax will definitely get it.
the only thing that sucks is that I'm not being able to use anything that I'm
She's
getting
not
from
doing
the battle pass
not
right
doing a
now.
good
So
job.
unless I go play Warzone.
I mean, because I think Jackson's bought all the games before.
True. The battle pass does kind of. It's now that Vanguard's out. Nothing about it is for. Um, why am I blanking on the name?
Uh, Cold War.
Cold War.
Gosh, where is my list of not my watch history? It's got one more. Huh. On my list. Academia, to figure out this. How's it going on? And this that isn't necessarily like a naming thing. I was seeing it more of a discussion. Like I got some
It
questions.
started streaming just for FYI. Yeah.
What order? Eh, okay.
Each.
There.
Okay, let's do a quick
Thank
count.
you, fucking Tawan. Talking
We'll
about the
start with
other.
Dom this time. Dom's
Fucking.
one. Me.
It's Ichi. You said
Nope.
Ichi. Ichi is one. Ni-san. Like, are you challenging
Yon.
that? Go.
San.
Roku.
Roku.
Mm-hmm.
Dana.
Each.
Hachi. You.
Other.
There's the next one there.
No, he's.
Ju.
Jew like the Juby. You gotta think of Naruto. Think of the Naruto.
I don't know, 6.
QB, Hachibi.
Nibi. Sanbi. Yonbi.
Let's go to the next one. Q.
Also, it does change sometimes depending on what you're counting. So I understand, but
Let's
normal
do it.
counting is
One.
each, ni, san, yon.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Because what did I say to start off, Matt? What did I say to start off, Matt?
I have
And then
up
what
to
did
5,
Tawan
I
say?
know that.
And then what did Tawan
I
say?
said
And then what the fuck did he just say just now? Boy. Yeah, and then he started his count with each. Boy, I come through this computer.
Stop! You put
Each.
laughing got coughed
said
out with
each.
my glasses. See,
Each.
what you guys do. I blame y'all.
The disrespect.
Each. Don't disrespect language. Each.
Me, I would never.
It is. I think I'm gonna try to download a few, like pay $20 and just download a bunch of shit from Streamlabs, some better overlays.
Man. It's gonna be a good day.
13, I think. Unless I got some while I was away
Making that Twitch money.
early. Not a lot of money comes from that. Well, some does. It does, but it doesn't.
Hey, it's a start.
Well, you have like 12 or 15 subscribers right now.
Okay, yeah, I'm still at 96 followers.
Okay, I can see again. Uh, no coffee on my
So,
glasses anymore.
This don't wait. So I
yeah,
looked
I'm
for
looking at the
Ghost of
anchor numbers are
Tsushima
so close to 1,000.
um on Twitch because I wanted to like follow the categories, how many people were watching it, so I know when it's like a good time to stream it and whatnot. And it
See,
said people
no
searching for
coffee in
Ghost of
there.
Tsushima also watch, and the very first thing is Amaret's pool video.
Okay,
Sway, what?
is what it is.
Yee, what it is?
Got your popcorn ready, boys.
Popcorn.
Movies. I've been trying to think of like ways to segue food into it. Try and be punny. I haven't done it in the last couple weeks, so I'm like,
Instead of why?
Oh,
Why?
it's weird.
Ah,
also I've seen a lot of movies this weekend.
I see
Which
what you mean now. I see where you're getting at.
Shit, I should have got, I should
I'm
have got
picking
an
up what
anchor
you're putting down.
or a bowl of pop.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a good cup of coffee.
Because we're talking
Good
about
cup of Joe.
What even is the
big,
category right now? Pools,
big,
hot tubs, and beaches.
Also, I probably should have
yeah.
gotten that. I probably should have gotten games. Actually, Ghost of Tsushima probably is on sale right now.
Instead, I got
This
coffee.
is a,
I think when I last looked, it wasn't. But we could.
oh,
But that was like a week ago, so maybe I'll be right back.
okay. It's like, oh, they're also coming out with a. I think they just came out with like a version for PlayStation Plus. There's Sonic Racers. There's a Ghost of Tsushima game, but it's like a preview of it.
Isn't the game like a year old now?
I think so. Um,
Oh, what are the games this month? I haven't even looked.
this my good friend is why we never start on time.
Is it like the Persona 5 thing? Like that is spin off?
I could use a little big planet. What are they? PlayStation Plus. Here we go. So it's Ghost Runner, which is like a high-speed game where you like attack people, that you have like time manipulation and speed powers. There's Ark, which is like a Jurassic Park type survival game where you like tame dinosaurs, build forts. You can work with each other as a multiplayer. There's Sonic Racers,
Is that the
which
old?
Mario Kart,
Oh,
Sonic.
okay. So I was gonna say, is it like the other one, the old one?
Yeah, and then there is Ghost of Tsushima Legends. Guys, it's hard to say S's with braces. I just want you to know that.
That's fun. When we went out to eat that with for your birthday, like you had a good list going on.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's what braces do.
yeah, it messes with my S's. This is while he's gone, I'll go use the restroom real quick because cough is diuretic.
Something better. S. S. Well, we have you here. Welcome anybody who's in the chat. What mine says? Coffee is good all the time. I'm not sure if you guys read, but the email I got for the Shonen
Yeah,
Jump was it apparently this is Doctor Stone's final chapter 232. It's ended.
oh wow. Okay, so it's time to start reading
You have a
because it's gonna be
if
done.
you have the ending
So,
arc at least.
oh man, almost missed a movie. Wow. Two, three, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Yeah, almost 10 movies on my list right now. Even though I can name more. Most of them are Miyazaki
Mm-hmm.
movies, but
Have that. I mean, Dragon Ball Z has more than 10 mentioned, but I'm only gonna mention probably more recent ones.
wow, I didn't even have a Dragon Ball Z movie on here. I should probably put one. But that kind of ties into one of the questions I have. But yeah. Oh, they keep doing that. Like they on Hulu with the adding a movie, like saying the movie's going to be gone, and then like taking that away or a show because they were going to do that with this show called Dangashi, which I've been watching, which is pretty cool. Like it's funny, like a little slice of life anime about this girl that's really eccentric about snacks.
Mm,
But yeah, I was gonna read the Jujutsu Kaisen chapter because Okatsu is about to meet up with this dude.
oh, yeah, there it is. All the stuff.
Oh yeah, I just got the email. Doctor Stone, final chapter
I'm
232.
gonna not say anything about it because I have my opinions.
Oh, did you read One Piece?
Yeah, I read this game and I texted the group, but I couldn't
Oh, I might have
have.
missed it.
I think I talked to Dom when we were playing on Saturday or Friday night.
Ah, yeah, I've literally just been too tired after both of these movies because I went and saw Sing on Friday, and then went and saw with Anna. I think yeah, you guys met Anna. She was at the Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
And her niece. Sing 2, that was a really funny movie and good movie too. And then we went and saw Uncharted last night. So I think I might game tonight. Seems like a good gaming night. Not doing anything else. Definitely probably gonna go for a walk today because it does look beautiful outside. We need to get another board game outing. Going to that bar and playing board games was
That
sweet.
was.
I'd definitely be down
We might,
to do that again.
I am up for that too. Yeah, that was a lot of fun just to go out and drink and play board games. That was a nice little change of pace and like a home board game night.
Yeah, few good beers, so we definitely.
I did like that bar too. And I'm kind of happy we didn't go
Yeah,
there
it was like
because we can.
I'm happy that we can go to the one downtown too. I think it would have been open longer, so we could have been out there longer. But
The parking would have been.
at the same time, yeah, it would have been hell. And then also finding a table for just two of us probably would have been annoying
Mm,
too. I probably wouldn't bring that game again, the Whirling Witches, just because it has so many little pieces that can be
yeah.
lost. But maybe like a card game. And I have two more games that I just well, we went to Target last night and saw a game called The Game, and it seemed kind of fun. We haven't played it yet, but
So did you didn't lose
um,
the game?
we definitely lost the
Mm-hmm.
game because you just
Yeah.
brought up the game. But I like it because I figured we would always say, "Hey, you just lost the
Mm-hmm.
game. You guys want to play the game
Yeah.
of the one you just lost?"
Already lost it without even playing it.
And then I have another game. Oh, that game I sent you the instructions to is called Archduke.
Archduke.
Yeah, I don't think you watched the tutorial, but we were playing COD when I was telling you about it. Uh,
Boop, boop. Everybody dance now. Boom, 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 boom. God, I really might go play some disc golf after this talking for volleyball. It's just windy. That's the only
do it.
thing.
What time? I was like, what time is volleyball?
I think it's at 4:30. Let's try sports. But I have 6 games today, so
Good fuck. Yeah, you don't want to wear yourself
it's
out.
so nice outside. That's all.
I know, but it'll be nice outside while you're playing
I
volleyball,
mean, it's like
and
disc golf isn't
not.
it's not as much.
I know disc golf isn't an intense game or like physically demanding, but 6 games of volleyball, Matt, just
I mean, I might stay out there longer too. I mean, if it's just so it's just so
yeah,
nice right now.
yeah. I am. It's been a long time since I've been. I don't think I've ever been like looking forward to spring just because I know allergies come with it, and I'm usually a fan of it being colder, but it's been so cold lately that I don't want to go outside even to like walk around. Also, the fact that I work from home and am in am in the house for like literally 90% of my day. Like I think I go outside to take out the trash and that's about it. Like even like I sometimes go and walk in the backyard, but it's been so cold I'm just like open the door since we have a fence now and just let the dogs out and let them roam around and come to the door when they're ready. Having a fence is beautiful. Do have to say.
Standing. Oh, then we have
Everybody dance
it's an
now.
awkward amount of teams. We have 7 teams in our league. Just a little bit awkward number, but that's all right.
Ooh, that's busy.
It's like that
I'd probably take away the Studio Ghibli thing,
for what?
just because you already had the
In the
yeah. Since you already had Totoro as the
okay.
background, I think it's kind of implied.
Just gotta remember which one.
And then maybe move your voice over just a
Like
smidgen.
where the Studio Ghibli is.
No, just move it a little bit closer to the umbrella.
Like that.
It's taking a
Yeah.
second for me to see it on the screen
Yeah. I mean, I just moved it like
because
yeah. You'll
everything's
see in a
so
second. Yep.
yeah. Because I see you stretching right now. Hey, we're having chats. Naked HD. Strip without clothing. I mean, it's not much, but it's spam.
There. Pull chat up.
Don must have had
Oh
to
yeah.
get.
Hello, hello, spam. Welcome to the
I think
chat.
I just watched.
Hang on, report them. Yep.
I just said welcome to the chat. I did too.
That's funny. Just remove all these messages. Yeah, was that better? Is that better spot for it though? Mm.
Yeah, I like that better. It looks less busy. Literally just taking that
Yeah,
out and then
it
moving
does.
that over.
The coffee poop
Yeah, I
sipping.
know. I was like, we
Yep.
figured.
I was like, it hit me too while you were gone, but mine was just a little bit quicker. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
just funny. I was like, yeah, that coffee is real. Like sometimes it just takes like two sips and like,
Yeah, sometimes I can have my whole cup and then I'll be nothing for like hours. And sometimes you take a sip, like you said, and the next thing you know, you're like,
Yeah.
I'll be back.
so a good way that I found to avoid it altogether is if it's fresh ground coffee, then you don't have that feeling. But if it's been ground and has sat for like a day or so, then it's definitely going to happen. It's something with the coffee already being ground and sitting out. Like, I don't know what it is.
I was,
You got to making fresh pots, boy. Your boy just put a K cup in and call it a day.
Well, we don't have a K cup. We just have, regular coffee maker. But I didn't drink enough coffee when we had K cups, like in college, because I didn't drink coffee like that. But I definitely drank like ciders and hot chocolates. Hot chocolate isn't as good with water as it is with milk. So what's the point?
Correct.
man, it's like I don't know, coffee. I think like after age, I can't remember last time I had a hot chocolate. Actually, no, I can because Grace made some like dark chocolate, hot chocolate.
Was
Yeah,
it good?
the dark. I would go dark chocolate or white chocolate, hot chocolate instead of the regular milk hot chocolate any day of the week. I also like white chocolate a lot.
Of course you do, Matt. Um, I was like, when was the last time I had hot chocolate? I had hot chocolate when we went to um the Chinese Lantern Festival because it was cold out there, but it was a nice combination.
Pretty sure I made some like a few weeks ago. Sometime during the short cold season we had.
Yeah, Dom likes his hot chocolate spiky,
Sometimes, not all the time.
What do you
a little
put in this
Bailey's,
spiked hot chocolate? Do you put Kahlua or do you put vodka or
No,
Bailey's.
whatever
Yeah.
liqueur or chocolate liqueur I have. I think I've only had Bailey's once. I have something. I forgot what I have downstairs. It's the chocolate liqueur I have downstairs that I'll put in it. I don't think I've ever had Kahlua to do Kahlua.
That sounds good though, like
that? Actually,
a white Russian
even like
hot
a little
chocolate or a
amaretto in
black
there
Russian hot chocolate. I thought you can have amaretto because it's
because
from
yeah, no,
like
I don't usually get any.
it's from almonds, right? Amaretto is from almond or some kind of nut. Gosh, it is windy out there.
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna make being outside even more like bearable with it being 80 is that it's windy.
Yeah,
Gosh, we gotta get a game of tennis going pretty soon.
yeah. Amaretto is made from apricot kernels, bitter almonds, peach stones, or almonds. Yeah,
Yeah, because I remember we had amaretto when we were in college, and you couldn't have any because it was made from
no,
nuts.
no, I do. I have broken my rule and I've had like amaretto sours before. Amaretto sours so good. Had a little sippy sip.
He's like, I'll take the chance with dying.
Awesome. Yep,
Ready?
exactly.
Whenever you
Yep,
are.
and I think all sound is good, so let's do it. I'm starting recording on the OBS.
I already, I, yeah, I've hit it just now on this. All right.
Well, excited there, aren't you, man?
Coffee starter hit. It's not in the wrong spot.
Lordy, lordy, all of us.
72 hours, we'll hit that lower intestine, then boom.
It's like the next time I stand up, that's when it's gonna.
That's like clench the booty cheeks, clench the booty cheeks. Tighten the sphincter. What is up, feasters? Welcome back to another great episode of the Anime Feast. I'm Dominique, and with me, as always, we have Tawan.
What up? Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
And
What up,
Matthew,
everybody? How you doing? How you doing?
I don't know
you
if you
guys,
guys can tell, but Matt had his coffee today. He's a little jittery,
Just a little
little
shaky, in the good way
squeaky.
in a
and
positive way, in a
positive.
positive way. Well, guys, it's a lovely day today. We've got great weather outside, even though we're inside recording. Um, Something to look forward to once this is done. And I can't figure out how to segue into this.
Instead of enjoying the nice weather outside,
So
if it's not nice weather,
get your popcorn ready, get your drinks, your soda, your candy of choice. We're gonna talk about anime movies today. How about that?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Instead of like a cold day where you want to do nothing but sit inside and watch a movie, it's a nice warm day. But we're gonna act like it's a cold day and talk about some of the great anime movies that we've watched over the years. And there are so many anime movies out there, where there's something more recent like, Mugen Train, or something as old as, Pokemon the movie. Like, all over the place with great anime movies that were in existence. Um, and the reason I said that was because I want to start with
yeah,
Pokemon
yeah.
the movie, one of the
I was
best movies
actually
ever.
just gonna segue into that. I was like, you said
The
Pokemon the
first,
first movie? Well, specifically Pokemon
yeah,
the first movie. Isn't
Yes,
because
that
the
what it's
first
called?
movie
Yeah. Because I was
was,
like, that was
yep,
Mew and Mewtwo.
yeah, and I was like, that was probably my first anime movie that I had ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Just because
We were
at
like
that time
six,
I don't even
7
think,
years old when it came out.
yeah, and I don't think like I even knew what Pokemon, I mean, what anime was at that point in my life. I was just like, oh, Pokemon movie, yeah,
I was
definitely
Yeah,
gotta
definitely in
see
the
that.
hype of
yeah.
Pokemon.
And it did not disappoint. Like I know I could go back and watch Pokemon movie right now, and it still wouldn't disappoint.
Pokemon the
And
first movie came out in
the first,
Jeez,
1998.
so we were
5 years
kindergarten.
old.
possibly 6, depending on when it
Yeah.
released. But I also remember the Mew card that came with like the movie ticket too. Like the
Yes, that's back when you got something for going to the movies. Um, a slight segue off of that. When I went to see a Yu-Gi-Oh movie in theaters, they would give you one of the Dark Magician cards, and I've got like like the Elder Dark Magician, which I thought was really cool. And then I remember that they had like promos going on with Burger King at that time, so you could go to Burger King and get one of those gold Pokemon cards. I think they had Mewtwo, Jigglypuff, Charizard, and maybe
yeah,
Pikachu. But I definitely had one of those too.
but
But yeah,
it's
Pokemon the first movie was definitely like a whole campaign, a whole thing. Like there was so much more that went into it back then, but
Because I
still
feel
a
like,
very
I don't know if you got, if you sorry, I walked away, but I heard you talking about getting things from movie tickets. But also they had the whole
that's what Tom.
McDonald's thing going
it was
on. So,
Burger
so,
King.
so
Yeah,
That's
you
what I was
said
just
that
talking
Burger King,
about. Yeah,
okay?
with the gold cards, you
Yeah,
got a
mhm.
Pokeball. Yeah,
yeah.
like they
I
had
was,
Charizard,
Forgot.
Mewtwo, Pikachu, and I think it was Jigglypuff out of all the other
yeah, yeah.
characters.
Basically,
But
That's because Jiggly was such a known character that back then, because Jiggly was always singing people to sleep and then getting mad and writing on their
a
faces with
classic
marker.
Jigglypuff. Just
literally, it's her power is like sing, puts
Yeah,
people to sleep, and she doesn't know it, and then she gets
gets
upset.
so fucking mad.
I forgot about the promotion, but I did
But
because I remember the Mew card at least because it was like hieroglyphic. Like every other card you can read in English, but that one was just gibberish, and it was holographic.
Yep.
Any holographic card is a better card anyway.
yeah, and then it had like ruined on like the whole card phase. It was, yeah, I remember it very vividly. And then that was, I think, the second time that we got an iteration of Ho-Oh because we saw him. Was that after they got back? He was on the pier, and then he saw like the clouds cleared up because it was all
Or
stormy.
or did
But I think
he?
that's the
Or
second time
was
I
it in
saw
the
Ho-Oh.
beginning where like they kind of showed like Ash's journey of like how he got Pikachu and they saw Ho in the beginning of the movie. Once again, I don't think I've seen the movie since year 2002. Yeah.
It's been a
Also,
long time.
I was gonna say also like I don't know if this was in the first Pokemon movie, but just the Pokemon shorts as well. Like you got like a little cartoon
Like
before it's like just the Pokemon hanging out, and I think one of them had Charizard getting stuck, his head stuck in some mountain or something
like
like that. And but it was just a great experience. just seeing that, and then seeing it in theaters and all the Pokemon and like them getting cloned and how that whole process worked, and like just how Mewtwo got jaded by the world because he was using an experiment and he was like, I'm going to free the Pokemon, which honestly, I was on Mewtwo's side for that movie. Like, I don't think he was really doing anything wrong.
Mewtwo killed all the scientists,
He's a
and
murderer.
then
He's a murderer.
yeah, literally murdered every scientist in the room,
And he's a
They
good
were doing
guy.
and
experiments on him
then went.
against his will and keeping him in a like jar container. I feel
They
like Mewtwo.
were they were replicating Mew to create Mewtwo, and then Mewtwo gained consciousness and was like, "Fuck this noise," and blew everybody up. Like, bro, you already cloned, fam, and then proceeded to the well. I think he was like captured and used by Giovanni and them for a little bit or something like that. It, like, and I get it if he wanted to free the Pokemon or whatever. If that was his mindset, but then to instead make these like the clones that were not just clones, they were like evil clones. They were all like out for
Because
attacking
because
the
they were
other
captured
Pokemon.
themselves and then they were replicated. And then
Yeah,
Yeah, they were
because
because he was like on
Mewtwo
the.
took them. Mewtwo took everybody's Pokemon and Pokeballs, threw them all into like he used his dark Pokeballs to capture everybody's Pokemon, put them into his machine,
Right.
and then
and
make a
then
clone out
Jessica
of
James
everybody.
released them
And the
too.
only and
Actually, that's what
correct. They accidentally fell into that room, and I think Ash went in there too because Ash was like when they because they got
Pikachu.
Pikachu, and Ash
No,
went in that, and Ash was like fuck that noise,
Yeah,
and he went up
Ash
and
wasn't
he
having it,
jumped
and
he grabbed the ball that had Pikachu and it sent him up into the room where everything was happening, and Meowth and them were already in there, and they somehow blew up the machine but Meowth and them were watching the clones be made, and then somehow they blew up the machine and released. So that's where Ash had his like badass moment because he came walking back into the room with all the actual Pokemon while all the clones are already down there, and it was like a cool like
standoff.
Ash and the actual Pokemon versus Mewtwo and the clones. And honest to God, Mewtwo got saved in that fight because Ash is a beast. As we all know, Ash is
he's
immortal.
Ash is immortal.
Ash can lift up a 2 ton Pokemon with one
he's
hand. Um,
he has very short
Mewtwo,
term
Mewtwo,
memory also because he doesn't remember this as a 10-year
yeah,
old. That very traumatic experience. But,
that's because Mewtwo wiped his memory.
oh,
Remember at the end, Mewtwo wiped everybody's memory of what happened.
I forgot about.
Yeah,
But
because he was
they were
fighting Mew, and then
he
Mew was
was
like talking sense into him. He's like, "What? I should do this? Okay, well, you're making good point." And then he just like, "Okay, so brothers fighting brother kind of deals. Like every Pokemon was like fighting their clone, and then he was just like, "This is pointless violence. I'm doing the same thing that they were doing, so let me stop." And then
yeah.
he was like, "We're gonna go off and just live free, and then let them live out their lives."
And it happened after everybody cried
Oh
because
yeah, because it was just
Mew
Sad.
and Mewtwo because Ash was about to get Ash was gonna give Mewtwo that work, and Mewtwo stopped it from happening. Because if Mewtwo wasn't a psychic and could stop somebody from touching him, if Ash got that punch across, it was over for Mewtwo. But he couldn't because he's psychic, and then he interfered with Mew and Mewtwo's fight, and that turned him to stone, which was the saddest part in all of our history.
That's it.
Anybody
oh yeah,
growing up,
man.
if you ain't cried when Ash was turned to stone, and then Pika tried to zap
You
his
might be a
ass awake,
psychopath.
and then started crying, oh my God,
Pika,
Pika,
oh,
Pika,
tears.
and then all the tears, oh, made every
Chill.
Pokemon cry. Bless you. Oh man, that hit hard.
Yeah, you're
Hits
not
in the
right now.
feels. Hurts a little bit.
Yeah, such a great part of the movie, and then yeah, Mewtwo and Mew were like, okay, this is kind of dumb. Mewtwo was like, I'm gonna erase everybody's memory, and I'm gonna take all these Pokemon I created far away, and then we never saw them again.
That's true. Also, I always hated that like they made this is just a problem with Pokemon. They made psychic Pokemon to be out to be so powerful in the show and movies, and then like when it came to the actual game, they
So,
really didn't have a leg up on anyone besides like a fighting type.
yep.
Like honestly, like I could literally go a whole game without using a psychic Pokemon, and I would be just fine. And when I had a psychic Pokemon, he really didn't have an advantage over anything else. But that was just a personal
They were just so difficult to get. That's what.
frustration.
Because I know what in the games at least Abra was super hard to find. He just teleport away if you didn't catch him in the first ball, and then you had to switch train him in order just to get a Kadabra. And then even if you want Alakazam, you couldn't do it on your game alone unless you had two games.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, yeah, the fact that Ever only knew teleport, so you had to like put him in, take him out, which I guess is the switch training. Um, but you had
Or give him
Drowsy
that
and Hit
XP
though.
share.
Yeah.
No, I was
There's
like,
also Drowsy. I'm trying to think if there were
Hypno.
I guess
any
psychic
others.
and ghost types are
Yeah,
very overrated. Like you wanted them, but they weren't really that great at the end of the day.
I enjoy ghost types more than psychic types at least, because ghost types, some things, enough things did like not affect them or weren't as effective compared to psychic. Like, because again, when you watch, like I said, with the movies and the shows, they made it seem like nothing could touch a psychic Pokemon. Like any attack that was thrown, they just be like, haha, like use my psychic abilities to stop your move. But then in the game, you're like, my psychic Pokemon got hit regardless, and then lost within like two
Like the glass
moves.
window, just throw a rock at it, it just breaks right away.
Yeah. But ghost types, you use curse, you tell your opponent, fuck off, kill me and you die too, bitch. What's up? Like, so,
it's definitely better than Explosion.
oh my
It's like
god.
a dick move. It's just
Never have a freaking Voltorb
Yes,
or
baby. Coffee's still good.
thank,
you want to meet yourself for that? I'm kidding.
thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talking to Bree.
we know.
I know. No shit, Jawan. No
Okay.
shit.
Who else you got there if it's not Bree?
I thought. I thought you were right. I need to think. I need to make a phone call.
But yeah, I was gonna say I don't really have
I was like,
I do have plenty of movies on my
it's like
list,
Pokemon
but
2000. We can just go right into that one too. I mean, like with
yeah, that was
Lugia.
Lugia, not as good, but still a
Not
solid movie.
they try to make it more like I guess they. I mean, of course, it's a cash grab because it's Pokemon in early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s was nothing but Pokemon. But it's just weird to see like all the legendary birds in one spot. I guess that's what I'm like trying to
I mean,
recollect it now.
it gave you more lore, I guess, than maybe the games would have. Uh, honestly, because
It
I
just it just happened to be
didn't
all
pay as
legendary
much
birds
attention to
were
it.
on those three islands right beside each other, and then if you capture all three, then the summon it'll summon Lugia. Just happened to be
Yeah, I feel
perfect.
like it was
Was it?
easier to show
Oh,
them under one roof because you're seeing like the overarching plot that Pokemon has is that there is one supreme legendary that is over like smaller legendaries like the birds. Like Lugia is over the birds, Ho-Oh's
Lugia
over
and
the
Ho.
dogs. Yeah, yeah, because
Ho.
Ho, yeah, he was because the dogs were under the temple where you get the feather for Ho-Oh, and Ho-Oh like goes sometimes. But the
Mhm.
legendary dogs were in there, and then they got out, and then they were running around. One of the most frustrating ways to like have to catch a legendary is to have
I
them show up and at random
I
in the
hated but
house.
loved that aspect of um the iteration of Pokemon. Well, because it was Gold, Silver, and
Crystal.
Crystal.
Pearl,
Mm.
Crystal. Yeah, it was with Suicune on it. Oh yeah, I loved it.
Still.
Yeah,
Because Suicune's my favorite legendary. So
definitely go for
so
it.
Then I just
was it the scales they had to collect, the feathers and stuff they had to collect on each island? Like I can't remember the premise of Pokemon in the movie 2000.
I can't remember.
It was a rock. It was like a there was it's kind of like a thunderstone, but like I think it had like Zapdos had a rock
But
with
they
lightning
but the
in
birds
it.
were guarding
That's what
those.
I thought. I was thinking it was a scale, but it wouldn't make sense for them because they're birds.
But the birds were
Yeah,
guarding
I don't
those
think it was a
rocks
scale.
so they would like protect the earth or whatever.
Yeah, and then they just got wild because Lugia would keep them in check,
And then Lugia
but
got
literally
beat.
when they have like just free reign, they were just fighting each other. So you got Articuno slinging like ice beam, Moltres using flamethrower, and then Zapdos just using thunder indiscriminately. And then Lugia had to come and like keep them in check. And I was like, also the fact Lugia is a psychic type, not water. He lives in the water, but a psychic and flying.
Yeah,
Frustrating.
I'm watching the trailer for it now, and I see the orb that they had. He's like a little ball that had everything in a little orb,
Orb.
and it was like because they were being controlled or about to be captured by that one evil dude with that big ass
They have like the
machine.
weird triangle things.
Yeah, and then Team Rocket
Yeah,
was like trying to catch Pikachu, and they're like
when
also
aren't they trying
poorly
to catch
playing.
Pikachu?
You have like
Also,
legendary
why
birds right
Pikachu?
there, and you're still worried about Pikachu. Really?
Yeah,
Well,
Because that
for
Pikachu was special.
no, it's not like Pikachu and Raichu are honestly garbage. Pokemon.
No,
There's so
Ash's
many, but
Pikachu is
It's special.
special, and everybody knows
There's
it.
no
there
other.
It's a
are
There's no
special
other
better.
more
Pikachu.
special Pikachu.
There's so many better electric Pokemon out there.
Mm-mm.
Do something else.
You find me a
Also,
better
he's on
electric type than Ash's Pikachu. I'll wait.
Raichu, the Surge's
the
Raichu.
Nope.
Electabuzz.
Nope.
Took Pikachu 3 times to beat him, or at least 2 times.
That's true.
Actually,
Yeah, that movie.
Manectric. I like Manectric a lot. Yeah,
Manectric.
Gen 3.
Also, Zekrom. Zekrom's such a better electric type.
Oh, see, y'all are getting okay. I'm remembering Manectric
Yeah.
now. However, y'all are getting into the Pokemon I don't know. So
Zekrom is a legendary from Black and White. He's a dragon electric. The black. Oh, okay. He's there, but he's not there.
That's yeah. Maybe do something else. But the I totally forgot about because that was Pokemon movie 2000. Then like I remember it was like the Entei movie afterwards. Pokemon
Yeah, that was the third. That was the third movie, and then Entei was
was a
playing
child.
as.
He just kept that child in the room, right? And he kind of did the
Yeah, he was like the child wanted Entei to. No, the child was like viewing Entei as her father, and Entei put up like this whole like fortress or whatever that they had to break into to save the little girl. That was a wild movie. I went to see that for like a birthday party, I remember. But yeah, also crazy.
can you tell we're '90s kids?
just
Yeah.
a little bit.
But that was going to be kind of like lead from one of my questions. Do you feel like anime movies should be canon to the main story, or
Oh my
That's
God.
very that's
or
a
or necessary to the main story? Like
I
I feel like it's okay for them to be canon and like actually have relevance in the main story, but I don't feel like they should be necessary. Like Mugen Train, like if they didn't iterate that into the anime, for instance,
I think
I
okay.
don't think they should have done it that way.
I think more
But
modern
I do think that they should.
more modern
Okay.
anime movies need to be part of this canon storyline now. Just because I get, not I guess, because more. Try and put my words in thoughts, of course, but the we are exposed to so much media that if you make a movie that doesn't contain to the storyline now, it's almost a pointless movie to put out there. Like I don't want to see a filler movie just because I guess the company's trying to make more money for it. I rather see it part of the storyline, even though they're probably gonna make a part season of it into the anime anyway. But I rather it be a part of the story and actually have meaning than no meaning.
Okay. So I don't necessarily agree. I don't one with the Mugen Train thing you mentioned. That's definitely going to be a newer generation thing as a way to grab money. It's just going to be bullshit of them making a movie from a part of the actual story, but then still making the actual story part of the set, like the next season, so that they just get money from it, just exactly like Demon Slayer did. But pre Demon Slayer's nonsense of kind of what was going on, think of our favorite One Piece. None of those movies are canon. However, if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard that Oda stated part of what's going to be in One Piece Gold, um,
One Piece Red.
Yeah,
Red. I don't know why I said gold. What happened there?
Gold is a
Uh,
movie that
yeah.
exists for One Piece, so that's not wrong, but it's
but
already out.
they like we should get some canon information out of this. So like that part I kind of like. I don't think it should be the next part in the series is a movie and and like that's how the sequence has to go. But similar to how like One Piece, like just random things that happened, like Stampede and whatnot, those would be cool if it was kind of like this is canon. Luffy and them went on this adventure and this happened, but it's not part of like the manga or like what the actual every story would now to be. It's just like a nice little side piece to it. I don't think it's needed though. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with those things being non-canon, just being side things because it gives more fun to it. It gives more lure to it. Like,
Yeah.
cause think of was it Stampede that had they all went for the treasure for Go Rogers like treasure? Is that what that was? Is that Stampede?
Yes, that was Stampede because that's the
Yeah,
one that
I don't.
It's like
me and you saw in theaters.
I don't like. I
Um,
would hate for that movie to have been canon, only because of the fact of just like how all the supernovas like worked together and whatnot. With part of it, I would have loved the whole Sabo, Boy Hancock, like that little part of those four fighting together. Love that shit. That being a canon like team up for a bigger villain, amazing. The rest of the story, I would hate for the supernovas to team up to get to go against one guy to be a canon storyline. I would hate that.
yeah, and then him not to be like any relevance to the main story because you're
Yeah.
like, how can someone be so powerful and then not
I guess
like have the notoriety in the main
Yeah.
show to be
I
this
think
Ex
it's
way?
ex Marine that we never heard about until he got free and did this
I
nonsense.
think it
Yeah,
depends on the
I don't. Yeah,
series because like I'm just thinking like what if they made was it the Wano like the Kaido fight into a movie? I would be kind of hyped for that.
I would be pissed.
It'd
but
be
see Matt, that's what I just said
yeah.
about Demon Slayer. That makes no sense. You don't make something like that. You don't have what should be a season of shows because also because of the fact that a movie is only an hour and a half, 2 hours long max. When you break it out into show, you get what 10, 15 different 20-minute episodes, so you get more actual content when it is broken out into a show. Compare, I mean, you have to wait longer to
Yeah.
watch it obviously, but compared to a one time sit down for an hour and a half, 2 hour movie, you don't like, I don't feel like you get maybe I
Maybe
just
I was like
I
it
but
just depends
I
on the
don't I
pacing.
don't like it.
Depend
It doesn't because at that point you're making someone go watch a movie compared to like, hey, I've been watching this show on the service I already paid for. Now, oh no, it's released as a movie. I have to go watch the movie because granted, yes, like Mugen Train got put to Crunchyroll and those services after, but it was spoiled. If anybody who didn't, go watch the movie before it was released on Crunchyroll, they probably got spoiled because it came out as a movie, and so they didn't have the money or the time to go watch the movie. So they got spoiled by other people because people did go watch the movie
and
compared
then
to everyone having the same opportunity on a normal provider
yeah.
that they
So
already paid for.
I think, in my opinion, I am okay if it is canon, not necessarily necessary. Like, I
Hmm.
like canon content, like how they're doing for Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, if it's like a prequel of information that didn't necessarily come with the anime, I feel like that's a great way to tie it in. Or my favorite One Piece movie, I'll just start and go into that. Strong
So
World. Shiki
I knew
is
you knew you
a
were going
I
there.
know, yeah. That's why I had that poster in the. That's why I had that poster in the thing. I knew he was gonna bring it up at the same time.
hands down the best One Piece movie. The only lackluster thing about it is that they don't have hockey yet. Like that's the only thing that's lacking.
Imagine,
Because like
bro.
technically,
Imagine
because
hockey in that movie.
I
Oh
know,
my
yeah,
god.
but because technically Shiki is canon though.
Yeah, they
Yes.
talked about him in the show and being like a rival to Roger.
But
So
what happened in that movie isn't canon. That's the
Yeah,
yeah,
thing.
it because they were also going to go back to the East Blue, which would have pissed
doesn't
me
make any
off
sense.
because they were not going to save it. But yeah,
Because
um,
do we know when in like Strong World that happened during the Grand Line? Like when it was supposed to like
um,
be put in?
I believe it was
Was it against the
just
Archipelago?
after NS Lobby. It would have been in that like between NS Lobby and
Thriller Bark
not Thriller. No, because Brooke was there, so it would have been
when
after Thriller
so then
Bark, but
Archipelago.
before
Yeah.
yeah, before the acapella growth. So essentially before then.
See, then
No,
you
But
see, but then you get there and you're like, okay, well, where do we throw it into the series? Like, what part of their journey happened here, and how did this happen, and how they even get there when they were on the ground? Like, see, it gets kind of crazy.
yeah,
It's
it
kind
gets wonky, but it was a way to like show people Shiki without having to like diverge too much from the main story
sure.
of what he had going on. So I think it was a good tie-in. It wasn't necessary. Like you can watch the whole One Piece series anime and not watch Strong World
Hmm.
and be okay. I definitely recommend going back and watching it because it's a great film. They came in like badasses when they
And the
like
coats.
had to confront
All
Shiki.
black suits, boy, yeah, you're
They
ready.
had guns blazing.
Everybody
Like,
had a gun.
come
Even
on,
Even
yo.
Sanji had a
Sanji,
gun.
yeah.
And then
Yeah,
like
that whole part was lit.
entrance. It's such a good movie.
All to go save Nami.
Also, like it was like the intro to the movie was great because you see them fighting all these strong monsters or beasts or bugs and everything, and no one's breaking a sweat except maybe Usopp. and he was like hanging out with Sanji, so he wasn't even in trouble.
Okay, so sorry, really quick. Here is why something like that would also be an issue to make to make that movie canon. They beat Shiki. Shiki was strong enough to break into Marineford and beat everybody and only get taken down by, was it Garp and Sengoku? After fighting
Yeah,
for a long time, he destroyed Marineford. So to have been able to have the crew beat Shiki, somebody who did that type of feat, and then they go and fight and can't win against one pacifista,
I think
like
yeah.
would have made no sense. I'd have been like, this is bullshit.
bullshit.
All of this is bullshit.
I was like, they did get wrecked by Shiki like the first time they fought him, and there was really no reason because we didn't have like
She
the
didn't even lift a finger.
Rayleigh. You get stronger during it. Yeah, I mean he has gravity control, so
Is that the one where he?
Yeah,
he
that's
That's the
why
just
one where he puts the crew into like a giant rock, and then like Robin comes out and like takes everybody
yeah
out.
he makes that giant cylinder, and then they all get stuck there, and then I think Nami is the one that stumbled upon them. Nami, Brooke, no, yeah, no,
it's
it might
probably
have been
Nami
Robin,
because
but
Nami was the one that Shiki took. Like
yeah, I
Shiki
think it
was
was Robin.
Nami's crew, or
Yeah,
Nami was Shiki's
Robin,
crew.
Brooke, and Frankie stumble upon them because they were hanging out. That was like their little trio for this movie.
Yeah. So like
But
that little aspect would as a One Piece fan, having seen them end up defeating Shiki but then losing, because again that would be before the pacifista. So then I would see that they were able to beat Shiki and then lose to a pacifista, and I'd be like, this is all. I don't want any of this anymore.
yeah,
Like I remember at the end of the day, these
but
are all for entertainment value. Like yes, like we're dissecting
Yeah,
them a little bit too hard, but at the same time, like it's still a great movie.
but something like um Dragon Ball Z. What was the title?
Broly,
The one. No, no, no. Not well.
Fix
I would have liked the Broly ones to be filler or to be canon, but also the cooler one, Frieza's brother.
a cooler.
That would
oh,
have been
cooler.
amazing to have like
I
the
literally
cooler
thought you
side of
I
meant
like.
like the
things.
when you well, when you were talking about the Broly movies because there's two of them. There's the new one
Yes,
based on
there's
Super,
three
and then
actually.
The Bio
oh
Broly.
three.
We don't talk
Oh
about
yeah,
Yeah,
Bio
because
you
Broly.
have
Ben,
yeah, because you have Broly, then Broly returned, and then you have the actual canon
Which I
Broly.
still haven't seen.
but
Because
it was
that
just the
movie is
cooler
canon.
one. And but when you said the cooler one, I was like, which one's the cooler one?
Not
And
cooler Frieza's
then you were
brother.
actually talking about Cooler Freeze's
I
brother,
love,
which is
Yeah.
just funny.
I'm not sure if you guys have you guys seen the Team Four Star movie, the Dragon Ball movies, the Bridge movies.
No, I haven't,
Go
but
watch the cooler
I'll
one
have to
because
watch
he's
them.
like, I'll always be cooler than you.
I think I did have to see something like that.
I d-
Yeah, like that would be amazing if that was canon, because it is like
Cause
because of the way the Dragon Ball Z world works, it would allow something crazy like that to
it's
happen.
just because to make that canon though, because Goku would have to return after Frieza's planet, but he's like on the planet where he's doing instant teleportation. But it's I like the movie because like the cooler movie because it shows like Goku just can't turn Super Saiyan automatically. Like he didn't. I mean, he learned it on Namek, but when he was trying to fight
Hmm.
Cooler and getting his ass whooped, he just couldn't just be like, oh, now I can power up. Like some tragic had to happen. Something tragic had to happen. I think like a bird died in his hand or something. He's like, this bird was my friend. Ah,
Yeah, Cooler's revenge, and then of course the return of Cooler, and that's when Vegeta also had a Super Saiyan. But then like that kind of makes sense because it was like we did see that King Cole was able to make a Mecha Frieza in the canon storyline. So a Mecha Cooler would also make sense that it is possible. But then that kind of got wonky at the end because there turned out to be like 1,000 coolers and like this big ass ship and all that weird stuff was going on. But
watch the Team Four Star also on that one because they always punch Vegeta in the dick for no reason. And it's like he's like, I can't believe all 1,000 of them punch you in the
Punching
dick.
me in
It's
the
like,
dick. Yeah, that one was that's like yeah. The Team 4 Star version of that. Oh my god.
it might be actually better than the movie itself. That's because
I mean, just like a bridge. To be honest, the abridged are so fucking funny.
Uh,
Yeah, bro. The Broly movies could have been canon too.
the newest,
Well,
apparently
kind
the
of.
newest one, because like
Yeah. But yeah, the newest
because
one
they're
is
the ones that
canon.
started the trend with was it Resurrection F and Battle of the Gods, and then they made it into like the first two seasons of Super.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, that was also another iteration of like, hey, should they do this and then animate it? And it's just like I was kind of annoyed with that just because I did see both of those movies, especially the Resurrection F before Super was really even a thing yet.
Mhm.
So
Because
it was because I remember seeing that with you, Matt,
yeah, we
didn't you?
saw the Resurrection
When we
F
first
in
got around.
I think at North Hills, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But it was such a good movie. It had such good comedy, and I was like, it's they're animating it for the show. What's the point? I
I just
just
saw it,
saw it.
and they made it like 24 episodes, or like at least was it 24 episodes? They drew it out too.
Yeah. And I was like, what more are you adding to it? Because it went pretty quick and it was very fluid. I got through it. I honestly, for a Dragon Ball Z movie, it was a refreshing change of pace because they will, Dragon Ball Z will drag out a fight, and it's just like
No,
for
no.
no
Goku
reason.
screaming to go Goku screaming to go Super Saiyan for 10 episodes.
I was like,
Yeah, so it's like it's refreshing when Dragon Ball Z does it because like I don't have to wait, a month to get through this fight. I can just watch it in an hour and a half. I'll take that every day.
I think even in Super it took Goku like 3 episodes to go Ultra Instinct.
man, yeah, it took him forever.
Yeah,
And then he lost it, and
exactly.
then it was like, okay, now all the minor battles now. Turn
Especially
Power
don't let him have to do a spirit bomb. Gosh, he'll be there for
15 episodes later.
Give me, give me your energy. I still need more energy.
That's what I forget who I was talking to, but I like they were like, I'm gonna get into Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, just watch Kai. Kai takes all the bullshit out.
yeah. If you got to go back and rewatch Dragon Ball Z, definitely watch Kai.
I'm trying to think of
Uh,
man. I
but next question, I guess, would when you are looking, I don't know how you guys pick whether or not you're going to watch an anime movie. Do you watch it based on like, hey, is it related to a show that I'm watching? Like, do you go for like a One Piece movie, Pokemon, My Hero, or do you kind of just go standalone movies like Your Name, Summer Wars, or are you just maybe? I know some people are just like, oh, I only watch Studio Ghibli movies.
I think
So
it. I think for me, it's always just kind of been like probably something I'm watching, and then the only reason I end up seeing the movie is because like the movie is coming out as I'm currently watching it, and that's why I go and dive into the movie. Like we were saying with One Piece and Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff. Like as watching it as a kid, then the movie came out. I'm gonna watch the movie. Same thing with One Piece. And every time a movie comes out with that, we're like, oh, let's go watch this movie. We're getting ready to go watch JJK. And we're all, we all watched JJK. We all read the manga. So now we're all like, we're gonna go watch the movie for it.
super
Studio
excited for
Ghibli,
it, by the way.
yep.
absolutely. The Studio Ghiblis, we really enjoyed those, and I think for those because they aren't there's not like a necessarily something we're watching or reading that's going to get us to go to those. We just know they make great movies, and that's one. A lot of the times you'll talk to me about these movies and you'll tell me about them or something about it, and I'll be like, great, let's go watch it, or I'll pull it up if I'm at home. But like also with like Naruto, Naruto has like 45 fucking movies. I would never go and watch these movies unless I was currently in the mood of watching Naruto. Like right now, being done with Naruto, there's no shot in hell I'll go back and watch any Naruto movie ever. But if
I was
I'm
like,
like
what's the last
rewatching
Naruto movie I
Naruto and
watched?
I'm like if I'm rewatching Naruto and I'm getting into it, then I might be like, oh, Naruto movie would be great right now. But right now, nah. There's no way you could sit here and try to put a Naruto movie in front of me and I walk away. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it.
I think I go based on recommendation now. Unless I'm super excited about something, I don't watch it because I know A Silent Voice came out in 2017. I didn't watch it until I think late 2018. And it's such a beautiful movie, but I mean, when it first came out, I'm like, what is this? I'm not really that interested. And then people talk about it, and I was like, oh, it's a really good movie. You should go watch it. Same thing with most Studio Ghibli movies. Like the first time I watched it, I watched Howl's Moving Castle with some friends, and I was like, this is the weirdest thing ever. Like, because it's definitely a branch off of something. Not even off something. It's a beautifully done movie, kind of confusing, beautiful, but it got great reputation for a reason, and I guess I'm definitely a person who waits and see about the movie before go watching it, just because I don't want to be disappointed in something at the end of the day. Like I know I'm excited for JJK because we read it and I'm making a mental note myself to reread the chapters before the movie. But I
Hmm.
mean, I like what Twan even went to see Uncharted. I'm a fan of Uncharted, but it's like I'm not sure if I want to see the movie or not.
Yeah, and then like me personally, I know I'm just such a big action person. I really enjoy my action animes and just fighting and intense things happening and some drama to it and whatnot. So I'm not always in the mood, or a lot of the time in the mood for a Studio Ghibli type movie or one of this like something like Your Name. Like I'm not saying that some of those don't have action in them, but they're not my JJK action. They're not my heroes or my One Piece type of things going on. So I'm kind of like it might be too slow for me.
I
Unless
feel
I'm
you.
in a slow mood, and then Spirited Away. There it is. Let's get it.
Oh man, I forgot.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
It's like
I mean, we're definitely going to talk about it, but I haven't seen a silent voice. How? But I'm definitely a if it's a anime movie, and it seems like something I would be interested in, I'll definitely watch it. Like I have a silent voice on my Netflix queue list. Um, Also, like any anime movie, I'm usually just pretty excited for because I know any One Piece movie just because I am probably pretty bad with like I'm like One Piece can do no wrong, even if it's a movie. Even though I've been frustrated with things with One Piece, but I'm like I have to see every One Piece movie. And I think I was in that stage when I was watching Naruto. It was like every Naruto movie was coming out, so I was like, oh yeah.
Hmm.
But like right now, if you ask me to watch a Naruto movie, I might watch the last one that came out. And
you
I
don't
Yeah.
definitely am not watching
Yes.
anything
you'd have
from
to pay
like
me
the
money.
I
first
think.
from young Naruto when he's in the orange and blue jumpsuit. You probably would have to pay me to
That's
watch one right now.
Yeah, Naruto the Last is probably the only Naruto movie worthy of watching right now at this point, being done with everything.
have they made a Boruto movie, haven't they?
But yeah,
Yeah,
they
it
literally
was,
Boruto was one and also another one where the Boruto movie was the not
but
even the first iteration, but they squeezed so much into it.
they did it different when they did the anime versus the movie. It's not like a shit ton different, but it is different. The design is different. The combat scenes are different. What happens to like Sasuke with all that, like there, it's different between the two of them. The results are the same, and for the most part, what happens is the same. But they did a lot of the animation, a lot of the fights, a lot of the designs different.
But yeah, I also remember like when I was really first getting into anime and like I look at the amount of anime that they have now and the amount that was out when we were growing up. Like I literally had to like if I wanted more content, I would literally just have to watch a movie for it. Like because I watched all the Prince of Tennis and I was like, you know what? Let me go back and watch these Prince of Tennis movies. But I feel like it's hard when it's connected to a series sometimes because sometimes there will be people or powers in the movie that they have gained in the show, but you haven't gotten to that point yet. So you got to be real careful when you're watching a movie because you don't want to spoil yourself on like something that's to come. So that can be a little frustrating when a movie is connected to the show. So sometimes I would rather have a standalone movie that's not connected to any verse that I know about.
Tuan, was it you I watched Crimson Pig with
Mm.
Porco Rosso?
But yes, that is a great film.
Yeah.
One of my
Again,
favorite Studio Ghibli movies.
I think Tuan and I watched that movie together like 2 years ago. That movie came out in 1992. I have never seen or heard of it before. And then
That
Tawan,
movie is a
I was
gem.
with Tawan and he put it on. And I would have never seen that movie in my life, but it was actually pretty good. It came out in 92. That's how long it's been. And I would have never watched it. But Tawan gives those type of
What's it
recommendations and it
called
was
again?
pretty good.
Porco Rosso.
Porco Rosso.
Yeah. Crimson Pig or
It's a,
Porco Rosso. HBO Max.
mhm. Guys, just heads up if you want to watch any Studio Ghibli movie, get HBO Max. It's worth it. Also, if you have any kind of AT&T service, you can probably get it for free. So,
Oh yeah. Shit.
And if you want more fun recommendations like this, then be sure to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yep.
Because if you haven't already, then what the heck are
And
you
if
doing?
you're
Let's
with
get it.
us in live chat, welcome too. We do stream every Sunday about 10:30 to 11 o'clock. Come join us live. But the
but okay, that we can just segue into our Studio Ghibli talk. Like, what is your guys' favorite Studio Ghibli movie? I know, Dom, you don't watch a ton of them.
Mhm.
I know, Matt, we watch a ton of them. Um, Mine is probably Porco Rosso. Uh, and then like I have like a three-way tie with like The Wind Rises, Princess Mononoke, and Howl's Moving Castle because all those he just has such a good way with
So
storytelling. The
beautiful.
animation's always great, food always looks good. Like it just gets you, and I'm like it. I'm a big sub advocate. Any of the Studio Ghibli movies, I'm like easily like, okay, let's just watch it in English. Like I watched the Japanese and they're really good too, but the English is always very well done. So I never really have a problem. Like, okay, let's just watch it
I
in
like
English.
Princess Mononoke a lot. Howl's Moving Castle, Spirit Away
House,
tripped me.
it's Mononoke,
Oh yeah,
not
Mononoke.
Mononoke.
Sorry.
That's One Piece. It's funny because I was writing it down and I literally spelled out Momonosuke when I was like writing it down to talk
I
about
think
it
if I had to
earlier.
pick one, I think I would pick Castle in the Sky.
Wait, the Castle in the Sky? That's the
Was
one
it?
we didn't like, man. I remember us watching it. I think you like
I
Howl's Moving Castle, and then there is the Castle in the Sky. I hated that those were so two similar names, but it's the one with the girl and the robot and the boy that saves her, something like that. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. Then they resurrect that robot who turned out to be evil. Was that? Or am I mixing
not,
movies up?
no, I
There's
think the robot was good.
yeah.
I think you're mixing movies up, but yeah, Howl's Moving Castle is not Howl's Moving Castle. The Castle in the Sky is probably my least
Was that
favorite
the one that
Studio
was slow
Ghibli movie.
pace?
Yeah, super slow paced. It was, I think it
Yeah.
came out in the 80s. But I like Princess Mononoke.
Castle in the Sky, 1986. Howl's Moving Castle, 2004.
Yeah,
No, I just hate about Howl's Moving Castle. There's like a subtle detail. If you don't catch that subtle detail in the beginning of the movie, then none of it really makes sense. It's about like when the princess has been captured, and
what
that's
is
what
this
all
stuff?
causes the war and stuff. But that's really the only complaint. Visually, they're all fantastic.
Yeah, always great
So,
animation. I remember the first time I think I saw a Studio Ghibli movie was when I was in, I want to say seventh grade. And like for our history class, they would switch us around and like teachers, but also the subject that we were talking about. And I think we were talking about like Asian studies. And then my teacher decided to show us Spirited Away. I was like, what is this? And why have I not seen it before? And yeah, I just fell in love with him after that. And then I think Cartoon Network did a weekend where they were just showing all Studio Ghibli movies. And I was like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna just sit down and like binge this. And that was back when the channel would have a movie marathon. Ah, those are the days.
So, like you said, I haven't seen a lot of Studio Ghibli movies, and that's why. And when I do see them, I don't watch them multiple times, which is why, like, I don't have the biggest recollection of what happened in them. So, like, I'm looking at the list here, and I feel like I've seen Ponyo. I know I've seen
On yeah,
Spirited Away is the one I obviously know I've seen because that is one I've watched multiple times. I know pretty much everything that happens in Spirited Away. So I feel like that one I would have to say is probably my favorite, and I feel that's unfortunate to say that because I know there are better ones out there, but
it
this
is
one
a great film.
but
There's no
this one is so popular all at the same time that like I also can see why it is that way. You know, like with No Name and all that, and like people love dressing up with No Name and all that stuff. Um, Princess Mononoke, I feel like I've seen that movie because every time I look at the end at a quick little thing of it, I'm like, I've seen it. I know something about this. I've seen this movie, but I couldn't tell you a damn thing about it. So
It's
I
I
can't say
think
it's
that
a
I've
that
three
seen it
way
because I don't
war
remember
with
anything.
like the
I
like
think it
taking over land and like spirit of the forest and stuff like that. Yeah, you're like I don't remember.
Couldn't tell you. My Neighbor Totoro, another popular one. I know I've seen it. Couldn't tell you a damn thing about it. And then I've always wanted to see. Like I feel like I've constantly looked at and wanted to watch Howl's Moving Castle and just never did.
It's a,
But from the way
it,
y'all are talking,
no, you should.
maybe
I
I
mean,
shouldn't.
absolutely.
it's a
It's
great
just
film.
Okay,
It's a
sorry. It
great
was
film.
yeah,
Castle in the
cast.
Sky is the one y'all said not to. Got it. And then I've
Cast,
seen The Wind Rises.
See, I think I've
I
seen.
feel
I
like
think
I
I've
watched
seen
that one
Kiki's
YouTube
Delivery
on.
Service, but I just
yeah,
don't remember. I think I. It was a movie. It was a Power Ranger movie that always had the commercial before it, and it was always. I think it was for Kiki's Delivery Service, but
Yeah, Kiki is a newborn witch. Well, she's not a newborn witch. She's a witch, and she's reaching, I think, 10 or 13. So she has to go out and make her own way. It's like a rite of passage, and they have each witch will have like their own thing that, like, she meets a girl when she's going to find her town that specializes in like love potions and prophecy. So Kiki is going to specialize, like, she can't really do magic very well. So she decides to specialize in flying and uses that as a delivery service. So that is her thing in that movie. And then it's kind of like a slice of life, meeting a boy kind of deal. Um, My Neighbor
So
Totoro is two kids. They are living with their dad. They move into a new house, but their mom is sick, so they are using their imagination and they meet Totoro, which is, I think, a manifestation of
It's
their
like a giant owly
imagination.
bear creature.
yeah,
Yeah,
giant creature thing.
yeah, he's cool, but they even like grow a tree one night and then it's not even there the next day. So, um,
I think something like The Wind Rises and Crimson Pig, and probably why I don't recollect a lot about them, and I only remember Crimson Pig because we watched it not that long ago to one, is that, or Porco Rosso, is that there's either no talking or very little talking. It's literally just animation and music. And I think
yeah,
that's also like a thing is that there's not as much speaking in a lot of studio. Not, I mean, I can't let me not say a lot of Studio Ghibli movies because a lot of like some of them do have a ton of speaking in them, but they're just a lot quieter and just like beautifully drawn out. And that's another reason why I'm just like, what
That's
happened in this again?
because
yeah. Porco Rosso, there's a lot of talking because he's like a old ace from the
is he like
Yes.
war,
smoking a
Yep.
and
cigar
yeah,
too?
and
No.
no, I think he is smoking, but not usually a cigar. But he got turned into a pig because he just flew up in the air one day because I think he got shot down or thought he was gonna die, and then he saw this line of pilots, and I think it's just like pilots going to the great beyond. But he got turned into a pig,
Because
um, and he's like a bounty hunter, and but it's just a fun movie, I think, just because like even like he goes and saves some kids from a pirate ship. And the pirates are bad,
Hmm.
but they're not even really bad
don't
because
they
they're
work
like
together
Hmm.
eventually?
the kids are just being like, no, there's another ace that comes from America that is trying to like outshine him. And he's like, yeah, I'll fly, you'll never fly again because I'm better than you. And he's trying to win the girl that Porco has like flirted with for the last like 20 odd years or something like that. She like runs a cafe.
Her name is Gina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know because I'm looking at it right now.
Because
But it's a good movie. It's funny, but it's not like too heavy or anything. They talk, but it's always like pretty lighthearted. But you see like conflicts that are going on because he starts working with this girl that is really good at making planes, but Porco doesn't even trust her to like design his plane and make it plane because there's still this stigma that women can't do this. But this man literally has women doing his whole like working and
isn't it
making
the
these
same one
planes
like
for
with the
his
was it
whole
the
family.
I guess like the gang person like Alvita is in charge? Like Adam said, like these movies do
Uh,
blend in weirdly together.
Yes, they do.
yeah, I can feel that. Like the only reason I think I know it so well is because I've seen them multiple times, and like even recently, I've just been going back and watching the Studio Ghibli movies. But we should definitely set a day where we just sit and watch
Because like
these
two
movies.
are popping out to me on the list is like Grave of the Fireflies, which I just like. I think I've seen it.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
If you want to cry, go ahead and watch it. That's funny thing
that
is that's the only thing I
is
know about that movie. I've never actually seen it, but I know if you want to cry,
it.
watch that movie.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaker. It is about two kids. I think it's during World War II because that's when Japan was involved. Two kids that get orphaned because their parents die. So they go to live with their aunt and uncle, I believe, that don't really want to take care of them. And then they end up living on their own, and it just
It's just
downhill
that
from
and
there.
it's
It's rough, and I was not ready. Like because I remember, I think I've only watched it once, and I was in college, and I watched it like 2 in the morning because I couldn't get to sleep. was like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw on Grave of the Firefly, see what everyone's talking
We're not
about.
was not ready.
No, I definitely don't recommend it if you're not trying to cry. Like it's super sad. Like probably one of the
That's
saddest things I've ever watched. So
that, and then from Up on Poppy Hill. Like I forget the
I don't think I've seen that one, but
Sorry, reading some of the plot.
from the
Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Yeah, it, I mean, I need to go back and watch it just because I'm a little more emotionally mature now. So I think I could handle it, and I'm just like, could I? I think it's on
See,
Hulu right now.
here's the thing. That has 100% BS because I have 1,000% thought the same thing about some stuff, and something as simple as like Matt and I, Assassination Classroom. I've seen that. I've seen it before. I know exactly what happens, and I'm not even that emotional of a person. I don't really cry at anything. But let me
that last
tell
scene.
you, I cried more. I cried more the second time I watched it than the first time I watched it.
Such
I was like, "What the
Yeah,
fuck, man?" I was 100% prepared for everything. I know what's happening. I'm fully ready. My body is ready. And nah, fam, wasn't ready. Was
oh
less
man,
prepared the second time around.
yeah, that's such a. It's like the
Fun fact. If you want to get Matt
yeah.
sad, just bring up
I'm
Assassination
already tearing
Classroom.
up. Don't you're not
yeah.
crying. This.
Oh
You're not.
man,
I'm not
it
crying. You're crying.
looks like it's gonna
I
rain
know.
today.
It's raining outside, guys. Okay, it's not me. I'm not sitting inside. I have an exposed roof. Was it
I'm sweating from my eyes.
I don't know, like I one underrated movie
Uh,
that's been out for a while, but it's insanely slow. And I know I've recommended to you guys before, but I mean it's I think it takes about an hour before it starts to actually something starts to actually happen. But This Corner of the World, I'm not sure if you guys have seen
this
it.
corner of the world. Let
It's
me.
about a girl with ADHD in like the 20s, and she gets like kidnapped by a stranger and meets a boy. Some stuff happens, and eventually she grows up, and everybody. She's an artist, but it's in again it's in World War II, and I'm trying not to expose too much of it, just because if you do watch it, I don't want to spoil anything. But it's her trying to adapt to a
Do
new
you?
family, going like moving like 250 miles away from her original home. It's cute. It's but
I was like,
once again, it's so slow. But I enjoy that movie so much. I think I've seen it like 4 or 5 times. Like it's, and I'm not a person usually that rewatches movies or even. But I think it was like one.
this corner of the world.
It's not. It's sad and not sad. I love the end. One of the few things. One of the few movies I enjoy the ending of.
It's on
Yeah.
Netflix, so I'm gonna add it to my
But I'm
list.
just it takes about an hour to before something actually happens in that movie. I'm just pre-warning anybody who wants to watch it or
I thought that's a theme with some of these slower movies. Like it takes a long time
Yeah.
before like you really get good with it. Because like Spirited Away didn't get interesting for a while, but then when it did get interesting, you were like, oh,
just
we're here now.
until like the transform until like the
Yeah.
parents transform into the pigs.
And the
Yeah,
pigs, yep, that's the first like interesting bit
because
of
at
it.
first they just like their
And you're
car
like,
breaks down
oh,
in front of like a ruin kind of thing. Because they're
yeah, right outside of that sequoia tree.
I
And then,
I was also gonna say the same thing for
yeah,
Your Name because it's like trying to figure out what's going on. Um, Great movie, by the way. It's a good slice of life. Um, and gosh, like we just start to see them like switching places and they wake up in each other's
and
bodies
like
and we
and
don't know
then
what
also
the
like
heck is
them
going
keeping
on.
track of their diaries, their actions for the other person to realize what they've done in their body.
Hmm.
I mean that's twisted in.
Also,
That's what I think I got the Silent Voice and Your Name mixed up, but earlier.
I think you might have seen A Silent Voice. I don't know. It's also on Netflix, which
Because
I'm probably
yeah,
gonna
because Silent
watch
Voices in the beginning were
today.
like the like I because I did read a little bit on Wikipedia, but like the girl's bullied for having an eye patch and or like gets taken out with an eye patch, and then like they meet up later in
Oh,
life and they don't get all shenanigans.
oh, she's
Yeah,
deaf.
she's deaf.
Yeah, that's why I call it Silent Voice.
But she's the one that gets picked on in the middle school with, and then like somebody sends a hornet to her eye, like a hornet, like the
Just
paper
so.
hornet, not an actual hornet.
Mm,
Sorry, that's
okay,
a this thing's fucking hurt.
they do. It's crazy that kids have such a ingenious way of hurting each other. Like just fold some paper up and
Use a
then
rubber band,
put a rubber band between.
slingshot it.
Gosh, kids are weird, mean and weird. Also, good action movies that are from the same, I think, studio that did Your Name is The Boy and the Beast, which is a good like coming of age story where I think a boy is an orphan. He ends up in the beast world or like the yeah everyone's a beast and he wants to be trained so he can be strong and he has to getting trained by this like kind of like Jiraiya type like beast guy. He's like a outcast, but he's really strong, and he's like brothers with someone who's looked up like well. So I think that was a good one. And then also Summer Wars. Uh, there's a virus essentially taking over all the electronics in the world, but a kid that plays video games ends up he's really good at it. He ends up fighting the virus and like trying to save the world. But it's also a good one. I don't know where you can watch Summer Wars, but I do The Boy and the Beast if you guys ever want to watch it.
No, I'm 100% out for a movie day, and
It might take some convincing for me.
I just need like a. We should have done more movie days when it was colder. Now that, cause
Yeah, it's warming up. It's hard to do, but I mean, sometimes during the summer, it's just good to be inside in
is
the AC watching a
do
movie.
we know anybody with a projector and do like an outdoor movie night?
No, but you can rent
Yeah,
one
Oh
for cheap,
really?
cheap.
I mean, you can buy one. I mean, you could probably get a projector and a screen for less than $500, probably less than $200 or $300. A movie that everyone I know that watches anime has talked about that I've never seen though is Akira. Like
I have not. Hmm.
everyone always talks and raves about that movie as one of the things that got them into anime, but I think it's more for because the movie came out in 1988, which is 5 years before I was born. But it's just I don't think I've ever had a desire to watch it.
And that one I've only heard good things about too, which is weird. It's not.
What is it? 1988, the Japanese government drops an atomic bomb on Tokyo after ESP experiments on children go away. In 2019, oh, it's set like 3 years ago.
Set in
There's
the
a
this,
No,
new.
that,
I
again.
love things like that. I love things like that so much. When movies are so old, there's every time that it's already passed, and you're like, inaccurate. We thought this was gonna happen, and
Where the
none of
fuck
it
are the flying
happened.
cars?
They're like
That's
Uh,
flying, yeah, flying cars, and you're like, nah.
i.e., the Jetsons.
well, I thought
Oh, there
Jetsons
was
was like
another movie that
2400 or something like that.
no, the Jetsons was like early 2000s.
I know I have one more movie I want to talk about, and that's the
Nope, Jets are set in
yeah.
2062.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay, never mind.
So we
We
have
got time.
40 years to get
Yeah,
flying
and live in
cars
the sky.
I,
This guy.
and live in the sky.
I mean, that might be how it is because the
Global
world
warming
is
and the
changing.
flooding the earth. Yeah, rising sea levels and whatnot.
Yes.
All right, Matt,
Last
what's your
movie is
last movie?
Digimon, the movie, the first one, and I got some beef
Digimon.
with it because I remember because there's two movies with the movie because it was the first one was with Ty and Matt and when what Alph, Alphamon was the first time when they actually became because it was a virus that the spider virus that kept on mutating inside and was taking over the World Wide Web and like causing destruction all around the world. Who was?
Hold
Yeah,
on, I'm watching the trailer right now.
but that's when the
Um,
the combination of
What?
Agumon and Garurumon first came, and they were destroying like the one Omnimon. Yeah,
Omnimon.
I just remember because it teased you because Tentamon was in there and it's like, oh, we'll get the whole gang back together, and then half the gang were not even paying attention to themselves, or they're like, oh, whatever, like, no, I'm busy, and it was just more focused on Izzy, Matt, and I'm blanking on the and Sora. No, why am I blanking on the and Ty? That's it. Because it was mainly Ty, Matt, and Izzy that were the ones that were trying to take care of it, and even though TK was trying to find a computer but couldn't do it. But then the second part of the movie is when I don't know where I think I remember enjoying a lot more, where it was a second generation and they find the kid in America who was like corrupting his own Digimon because he had negative thoughts.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's the one I remember. Is that generation's movie? I don't remember much about this one. It's funny though because looking at Digimon the movie, trailer and first off the animation saw back then,
I can.
wow. But you have Omnimon, which is like Omnimon is the Digimon that should be Omnimon. It should be the one that nobody can beat. But then it feels like the second generation with those, you're kind of like these seem like they could beat the original Digimon, but maybe not. But I do kind of remember what you're talking about. I think the one guy that was like
Yeah,
turning his Digimon evil just because of his thoughts and stuff. And because he had like, was it the one that was like a worm that then turned into,
it did turn into like a centipede if I remember correctly, or I don't think it was. I know what you're talking
yeah,
about because it was Willis because like he had a voice in the set that said "Go back." It's like, go back where? Where do I need to go back? Same viruses.
yeah,
So
Digimon, the ignored older brother of Pokemon.
it's just so weird. I thought they had a better story, but it wasn't as popular. Yeah,
Yeah, what was that one
Yeah,
called? I'm trying to find it.
I don't know. I enjoyed Digimon. I watched it. I watched all of it. Like, but I don't know. I definitely have a preference for Pokemon just because you get more variety. Like,
and the game.
I feel like if you come across the wrong Digimon, you're just beat every time. But they don't necessarily have like a weakness like Pokemon. It's just like this Digimon against this Digimon.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. They're not like types.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah,
Digimon.
Then
but water, I feel like it's always going to be better than fire. But when you get out Metal War Greymon, that is just like fuck everything.
so I know you
Yeah.
said you saw. Oh
Also,
god.
I was gonna say also the fact that like what I liked better about Digimon and what everyone talks about honestly with Digimon compared to Pokemon is that they can go back. You
Yeah,
don't
they can
you don't
revert.
you don't have to stay digivolved into that big ass angel or like they when they digicombined into Omnimon, like that wasn't the end. It wasn't like, oh no, Agumon and Grurumon or whoever, they're all stuck as this giant ass Digimon for the rest of however. No, like battle's over, devolve right back into your original forms. Even the little ploppy forms that had no freaking legs and arms, like you could even go that far digivolve and
Or they were
be
tired they
fine.
couldn't digivolve because they were like they didn't have enough energy to do that.
Exactly. Like I kind of liked that aspect about it. But again, Digimon is in a digital world. Pokemon is like an actual world. So
Yeah.
like I guess I understand, but
Cool.
oh Digimon. I'm glad they're like redoing them to an
Yeah,
extent.
I kind of was watching the
Give,
2020 series, the Digimon Adventures, but it kind of got out there.
like give the kids something cool that we used to watch. But yeah, like you said, they do kind of get with every remake they get a little crazy.
They gotta mix it up, Dan.
Okay, it
Yeah,
was called
kids need
Digimon
more
Adventure.
excitement now, I guess. Hmm?
I think it's called.
Like I feel like that's why Pokemon had to get so out there because it was just like there's so many other things that do so much more. Like I feel like we were more easily entertained by like, hey, that Pokemon just evolved. Like, did you see that? It was wild. Now they have to like mega evolve and do like
Dynamax.
a whole like yeah, Digimon combination thing. Have that what was that the little rainbow orb thing that they have to use to
What?
Yeah.
mega
What if
evolve?
are you talking about Pokemon or Digimon right now?
Oh, the
Oh,
Mega
okay.
Stone.
Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to make you evolve.
like I feel like they were taking that aspect of Digimon because Digimon had a thing where they were combining with their Digi
That's what I was gonna
Destiny at
say.
one point.
The part when Digimon started to, well, not even just that, like when they started to digivolve with the humans, I was like, wait a minute. We're getting a
That was
little
doing
too
too much.
crazy now. We're getting a little too, and then you would see like the humans would have like the way they had, it was like they had the scanner. So you would see
Oh, the
like their
card.
hand all of a sudden have like 25 rings around them, and then they would like do like they were doing fucking Power Ranger shit and
Yeah,
would
and do like
scan and then they would
a
combine. It was
Sailor Moon like
it
transformation.
was crazy. Yes, and then like they would go like all angel mode, and you would see nothing but a silhouette, and clothes would be ripped off, and then their Digimon would come morphing into them together, and then they had a combined human Digimon thing, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
I think like
that,
probably the fourth or fifth generation when it got like
Fourth,
really
I think.
really out of hand with like
Fourth
combining
is when
people,
they like grabbed
because
like
I
the
know like
stones
that.
and they actually turned themselves into Digimon because they had to ride the train into the
Yeah,
digital
I
world,
stopped.
and then like
Done.
the few selected
I
were
was done.
chosen, and they got their ass whipped every episode until they found the power
I
of
was done with
friendship.
Digimon.
Spoiler on the fourth season of Digimon if anybody's watching that or you even know of that.
From good old
Yeah.
2002.
it's been 20 years, so
I think it's past the
Yeah.
spoiling time frame. Oh man, but guys, these
uh,
were some.
Yeah.
Oh, Twan, do you have anything else? Sorry,
yeah.
let me not cut
One,
you
I was
guys
like,
off.
one last movie I wanted to talk about was the gosh, I'm blanking on it right now. Kuroko no Basuke movie. I thought that was a good way to have a movie because it just gave you like a little more insight onto like what was going on with Kuroko no Basuke at the end of it. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Don, but
Mm-mm.
it's just this team from America comes in, and then you get to see all of the Generation of Miracles play a
Play
game
together.
together.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. Definitely worth a watch. Also,
I,
like I don't know if
I,
you've seen clips from it, but they're like I feel like it's a good bad representation of how an American would approach basketball with like a Japanese team that isn't as good. Like they just one do street moves. There's a lot of taunting,
yes, I
and
remember
I
that it
was
was a lot
like,
of street ball because that's like the only little bit I've seen. It was definitely like some street ball stuff going on, and I was like, eh.
but I was like, I can imagine it. Like if there's such a skill gap, I know how Americans are, and like people like to taunt and show their skill and like superiority in a game. So I was like, yeah, it was just funny. But it was also just cool seeing the Generation of Miracles play a game together again after so long. But other than that, I have really enjoyed this talk that we've had
Oh
about
shit.
anime movies and how we've connected with them and things that go along with the from our early anime movie days with Pokemon and getting like merchandise from the stores and things around us to movies today that are literally a part of the storyline of these shows that we watch, and they're just kind of rehashing it to make more money, but still nice to go out and experience it in theaters.
Sorry, I wanted to share that because that was like another one that I was thinking about, Matt, with Digimon, and like that was the last generation I truly enjoyed. So yeah, season three,
Yeah.
the third generation, I really enjoyed these ones as well. And I wanted to share because I was remembering this. I remember they had a movie too that was really good, and it was my last one because it was the Cyber Draymon or whatever that was like the
And
evil
then like
Digimon in that
Chaos.
movie. And I remember Impmon, and I really liked this one because Impmon
Yeah.
became such a badass Digimon, like evolved Pokemon or Digimon. It was amazing. Like being this like anti-hero that was sometimes bad and sometimes good, and finally having that like connection that allowed him to digivolve and was the biggest
With the
badass with the
motorcycle, yeah.
gun and the motorcycle and all that. I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my
And
god,
Jerry's
Impmon.
decline with Leomon after Leomon dies. And then that's when chaos started to take over. No, that's the last one. But then what you said, like when they transform into the humans, that's when.
Yeah, this generation I think started to like combine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, good stuff.
I think that's it.
like Twan was saying, just fantastic, fantastic movies and things out there. Whether it is the Studio Ghibli, whether it is a one of your favorite animes out that has their own production team that made a movie. There's a lot of things to look at, a lot of things to go over. A huge variety of what they can be as well. Which I mean, just that's the anime world. People are always like, "Oh, these kiddie things." It's not. It's a huge variety of things. You can have movies or shows that are, child, focused, or things that are really intense and adult focused. It's a wide variety. All of them are amazing. Um, so yeah, guys, if you haven't already, I mean, get out there and watch some amazing shows, some amazing movies. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Anime Feast, on Twitter and TikTok and YouTube at Anime Feast, and tell us your favorite anime movies, your favorite Studio Ghibli movies. Any last words, my fellow
Yeah,
otakus?
just leave them in the comments so we can also recommend them. We can discuss them in another podcast episode too.
Yeah, and give us any recommendations that you guys have, because even if they don't, I will definitely go out and watch them. And then I'll bring it up enough, and then they'll watch it too. So
Yeah, there's a guarantee that at least one of us, being Tuan, will watch whatever you talk about.
yeah,
But all right, till next
but
time, guys.
stay hungry, my friends.
Peace.
Peace.
Good
Tuan, I
episode.
greatly
Oh,
appreciate you having some questions to throw
Yeah.
in that like really added to the conversation. I really appreciate that.
yeah, that's